All right. Okay, hi again. This is going to be a workshop on the forces of our name. Now, by the word forces, we mean qualities, and we mean properties, and we mean events. For example, the forces of a name can be attached, have a number. Each name has a number, right? It's about numbers. It's about arithmosophy. But the forces of a name, the number of the name, means many things. It may mean properties, qualities that this person has, karma, destiny, events that are related to these numbers. And also it may mean higher, there are many definitions. Okay, let me just say first that Pythagoras, the great master, great teacher, he taught, among other things, union with the soul meditation 2,600 years ago. After purifications, he taught inner reflection. He taught many things that we're not aware of, most of us, right? And Pythagoras, he said that he brought the numerals to the West. He brought them from Babylon. So there were no numerals before. There were hieroglyphs, but not even hieroglyphs. They counted everything in a very strange way, like two oranges, they had no numerals. And then Pythagoras brought actually, in the 6th century before Christ, he brought the numerals. And he said there are 3 levels to numbers. The basic level is where numbers measure, count, they measure, they measure temperature, speed, whatever they can measure. The second level is about meaning, where numbers have meaning. And through this meaning, we can see, we can see our purpose. We can see everything, right? Through our name, we can see our purpose. And through the names, through the numbers, we can see the qualities of every word, every concept, everything. He said, actually, all truth can be obtained through numbers. Then there was the other level, which is the highest level. So today, because we're interpreting our name, I'm going to go to the second, which is the meaning, and the third level, the highest level. So we're going to talk about the highest level also of what our name means, because we're spiritual beings. So I hope that the workshop part we can do quickly. Also, I just want to tell you that Pythagoras said that before we are incarnate, there are name makers. There are these higher beings that are called name makers, who are in the higher planes, and they give us a name. And by our name, we can discover our purpose, our plan, the events, the character, the karma, everything. That's my specialty. That's my job. That's my work. This is what I do. I help people find their purpose. But finding a purpose is not, for most of my clients who take a one-on-one with me, I guide them, but it makes sense. It's nobody's working in a job that is entirely practical, and they're born to be something entirely different, or the opposite, it makes sense to them. But it's very good for removing all the false goals and to see really who you are, to see what your soul desires, what your personality is like, what is your character, what you have to balance in order to be happy, in order to be balanced, right? We all have some tests and trials and challenges. And then the events, the timing, etc., etc. There's so much we can know. Today, we will see what our purpose is in general, all right? And we will see a general number of our names, but we will see our names separately. So in order to do that workshop, we have to look at these tables of correspondences of the English language to letters. Now, follow the simple instructions as my teacher, Master Chokoksui, says, because this is otherwise you will be asking me and we'll be doing this again and again. Now, I want you to write down, if you have pen and paper, I want you to write down your full name as it is in your birth certificate, all right? Now, Indian people, sometimes they have one name, the first name in the birth certificate. If that is the case, it's better if you add your parents, your surname also, right? So I want you to write with capitals, if possible, or with small, as you like. Just write down each name, all your names at your birth certificate. And then I want you to write down under each letter, I want you to write down the number that it corresponds to. You can see here that, for example, 1 is AJS, 2 is BKT. You understand this table, so it is very simple. So I want you to write down first your name, and then under each letter, I want you to write the letter it corresponds to, all right? Like Chloe, for example, C3, age 8, etc. All right? So I want you to write this down. And once you finish that, I want you to make an addition carefully. You know, sometimes our mind blocks. I mean, I'm very good at adding numbers. I had this habit when I was a child to add all driving plates, you know, very quickly, very quickly. Now, sometimes I reverse the total of the number. I add it to the original. I do things like that to fall asleep. Anyway, when I'm not dropping, you know, because I work a lot. But, you know, I want you to, it's better if you take your phone and your phone calculator, because if you do not, you know, your mind may trick you, you know, you may make a mistake. So it's so much better to just calculate all the numbers separately, each name separately. All right, like for example, Shrey is S1 plus H, if that is your birth certificate name, right? I don't know if it is. Okay, so H8, etc., R9. So you add this and you get the total for each name separately, right? Okay, Debbie, because you got up, I know, I realize you didn't have paper and pen probably. So you just have to write down the full name, the letters under each, the numbers under each letter, and then add up the number, get the total for each name separately.
May I have a question?
Yes, just that when you ask a question, you appear on my video, which will be posted on YouTube. If you're okay with that.
Yes.
No problem. All right, go on.
I actually also checked my birth certificate. So it has my middle name. I don't usually use it.
Yes,
For
the
this,
middle
do I
name,
need to use it?
definitely. That is your Pythagorean name.
Okay.
According to Pythagoras, if they make a mistake and then, well, not according to Pythagoras, I'm sorry. According to the first lady who brought the knowledge from Pythagoras to our modern times, her name is L.G. Balliet. She's a great teacher, amazing soul. She must have been a very, very high standing soul. Whatever she wrote is accurate. You know, of all the books that I've ever read of Arithmosophy in my life, I have never encountered one that doesn't have mistakes. Even one mistake or two mistakes, but mistakes that are important, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have mistakes. She teaches. And she said that even if by mistake they named you in your birth certificate Babe, because they don't know the name, or that is your birth certificate name. But you have to see what your name means, you know. I mean, if your name Babe, then you come to me and we'll figure it out.
Thank you.
So yes, your middle name also. I saw Jason entered. I cannot see him. Hi, Jason. Jason, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, Evita.
Right. Okay.
I'm still at work, so that's why my camera's
All right.
off.
I'm recapitulating very fast for you because you entered after I had said, okay, so this is the tables of correspondences. I want you to write down your full name at birth, at your birth certificate as it is, and then to write down, but write just down the name, and then write down the number under each letter. And then, so you have all the correspondences of your letters, and then I want you to add up the totals of each name, all right? So then we can analyze what it means. And then for those who have finished, so this is so that you know what to listen to, especially when I tell you what the name numbers mean. And after that, I want you to, once you've done that, I want you to add up all the numbers of the names together and bring them to a single digit number. All right, so that we can know also what is your purpose, your destiny number. That is your destiny number. Your destiny number is a total of all the letters of all your name. I'm trying to see. How to see you all. It is really. Okay. Okay, do you have it? Does everybody have the numbers under their name? Have you got it? Jason, have you written down all the numbers under every letter? Have you, Jason? Oh, Catherine is here as well. You see, I cannot see all of you. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing just for a moment. Okay. Jason, can you, did you write down all the letters that correspond to the numbers that correspond to your letters? I'm sorry, I'm not very focused yet. Jason, can you hear me? All right, let me see in the chat. Just a moment. Oh, everywhere. Yes, you have 11 everywhere. Fantastic, Catherine. Hi. All right. It's okay. I understand. All right. So I don't know if Jason can if he can hear me or not. Well, anyway, I hope he has written down everything. So yeah, of course, now we're looking at the single digit, all right? The most important thing for your purpose is your single digit. The master number is important. We can analyze that in another session, but today we're looking at the single digit. And because we want to move through the numbers and to do our workshop, because our workshop is very important. The workshop is the most important part. Because, okay, it's good to know yourself and to understand a few things about yourself, but it's very important also to remove inner obstacles. We're going to do a deep purification, and we're going to do a visualization, right? So, okay. So let us move to the explanation of the numbers. All right. So, first of all, whatever number we discuss, right? I mean, I'm going to start with 1 up to 9, of course. So I want you to, first of all, it's more important to know that your destiny number, your purpose is the total of all the letters of your name, the single digit. Now, I'm going to tell you what it means in terms of purpose also, but I'm going to also tell you the higher qualities. Now, I want you to know that the first name is the name that we bring ourselves from the past incarnations. It is our qualities, is what we bring into the incarnation, all right? It is our forces, our karma, our destiny. Our surname is the forces of the parents. And usually it's the father name. Now, for some people who are, like, for example, Hispanic, they have mother's name, father's name. So you will see the tendencies that come from each side. I don't know how to do this. So you see the tendencies that come from every side, from every parent. You will see the tendencies and the karma, the qualities, the forces, what it brings into your life, right? So we will be able to see what is ours 100%, what comes from our mother or what comes from our father, and what comes and what is, because the total is our purpose, right? Our purpose is seen through the total. So I'm going to try to be explaining this so that you can understand for your purpose and for the individual name qualities that you bring into the incarnation, which is also showing what you're here to do. Part of is the analysis of your purpose. Your purpose is composed of those numbers. Your purpose may be 1, but it doesn't matter. If it's composed of 8 and 2, you're 1, you understand? Then this is what it's composed of. You have to understand what your purpose is composed of, what kind of forces, and what kind of events relate to that. Let me just turn down the sounds. I'm sorry. Okay, sound mute. Okay. All right. So I will look at, I have this very beautiful, all right. Hold on. I don't want you to look at the PowerPoint, so I'm going to look at something else. Okay, so number 1, all right? So on the highest level, number 1 comes the manifestation of matter, right? It's a divine energy, comes the manifestation. And then the subsequent numbers, from 1, everything comes from 1. The numbers, the points, the lines, the flat shapes, the solid, the perceived bodies of fire, air, water, and earth, right? And the cosmos through number 1 becomes ensouled. It becomes mental and it becomes spheric. So that's why number 1 is also oneness, and it is symbolized by the sphere. Number 1 people, all right, if you have a destiny of number 1, it means your destiny is to create something, to create the foundation for others to thrive through this foundation. Now, this foundation may be a business. Usually you have to have your own business, or it may be a foundation, or it may be whatever. For example, you may be a person who has inherited money or has an income or has some income from properties, whatever. And you're creating a foundation for others to thrive by feeding many animals, by feeding the poor, by taking care of your family. Number 1 is a foundation for others. And usually their purpose is to make a business. Number 1 is tested through injustice. Every time that there is injustice in your life and you don't see it as the end of the world, or you don't see it vindictively, but you use it as an opportunity to live gracefully or to act gracefully, and you don't break everything and go, every time you do that, you get better karma and you progress. Every time you break everything and go, you get negative karma, they say, every 7 years. So if you have made this mistake, if you change, then it's going to be better. All right. So number 1 also is the initial matter, right? It's the principle of divine will, the living point, the 1 point. They say it is the logos incarnate in the chest of the virgin nature, right? It's the logos. It's perfection and goodness. It's creative authority. It's the beginning, right? It's yin and yang, 1, the mental sun, the soul of the world. These are the words with which this Mrs. L. G. Balliet describes number 1. She's a very, very high teacher. I'm not going to say this is my description, right? But I will tell you that on a lower level, well, we know that, right, from also from spiritual teachings, but the way that she uses language, I think is very beautiful. So a human with a number one, going down from the logos to the human, right, is very, very independent, innovative, is a leader, and he works toward attainment, right? They have a strong willpower and determination. They're pioneers, inventors. The problem is they can be aggressive and boastful and cannot know how to delegate with others. The problem with number ones, what a number one has to solve is they have to solve their tendency to do everything by themselves and to be perfectionists. They have to learn to cooperate. All right, let's go a bit faster. Number two, or rather the first three numbers are very important for us to understand. And then everything else ensues from these numbers. So number two is the first female, mother, mater, the straight line between 2 points, right? There's 2 points. When there's two, the straight line is created, a bridge. The eternal female, passive, resisting, patient, more conservative than number one. It's matter capable of giving birth to form. And then also is the duality, of course, the 2 eyes, 2 ears, etc. The left and right brain. And it's a number of Isis, the goddess of love and healing in ancient Egypt, the number 2 of the second ray of love and wisdom. So a human who is on a higher level with a number 2 is an adept. An adept is a human being using energy to benefit others, using energy properly. Number 2s are very cooperative, sincere, adaptable, etc., diplomatic. They can be very shy and timid, fearful. They tend to not speak at the right time, and they accumulate, and then explode. That is the problem of number 2, that they have to learn, that is their test and trial. They have to learn to lovingly, honestly, with, self-love and love for others, to pause, to think, to exercise understanding. And if they're being insulted, or if they feel that they're used, they have to say, I feel that this is not right. I don't feel good about this deal. I feel a bit offended by the way you spoke to me. And even if others scream, they have to keep their cool and say the right thing at the right time. They have to remember at that moment that it's more important to say the right thing and lovingly, and to speak out, than to win the argument. That's the most important thing. Of course, they cannot then retract and shrink, obviously. They have to stand their ground, but diplomatically, they're very diplomatic. So they just have to use that. Number 2s, their destiny is within healing, within cooperation, partnership with others. Whatever is into cooperation, partnership, etc., is a number 2, property. They're very good. They're very good counselors. They're very good pranic healers. They're very good energy workers, right? Health professionals of all kinds, healers, assistants, very good teachers and analysts. Although number 6 is also very good, teacher. So number 3 is the first being created by number 1, and number 2 is the Horus, God Horus. God Horus is the one that related to the third eye, is related to the Holy Trinity, to divine intelligence, to the triangle. God Horus is related to the 3 times the past, present, and future. These are on a higher level. you know, in Homer, the ancient Greek historian, invocations were made to three gods, to Zeus, to Athena, and Apollo. These were the three powers. That Zeus was divine will, Athena was love, wisdom, and Apollo was divine light, right? So also when in Chinese culture, I think in Eastern cultures, when they adore the ascendants, they adore the father, the grandfather, and the great-grandfather, 3 generations always. Number 3 is the perfect harmony number according to Pythagoras. And of course, it relates to Hermes Trismegistus, which was 3 times the greatest soul on earth. So for human with number 3, of course, number 3 is peacemaking, is creative, is exuberant, is charismatic, is happy, is joyful, is the life of joy, of intelligence, is good with words, you know. The problem with 3 is that they can come off as very loud, like, you know, it's a number of change also, it's a volatile number, so they can change their minds and moods easily, they're volatile. But, you know, they can come out as being too loud or because they're always exuberant. Not always, but sometimes they can come out as self-centered, self-promoting, which is not true because this is their disposition. The deeper purpose of number 3, and that is what is important. How it's going to fit, because if I tell you, oh, number 3s are good as analysts or teachers or writers, I'm limiting you. You have to see the deeper purpose, right? The deeper purpose of a number 3 is that they spread to the world the awareness that we have divine meaning in their lives, that there's divinity in us and divinity in everything around us. So number 3 have this need. They're connected to the angelic kingdom, you know, to Mother Mary or to the divine mother and of any religion. And they have this exuberance and this, you know, they're positive. They're very positive people. So if this is your purpose perhaps is to spread to the world that magic, in the good sense, magic, you know, meaning, divinity exists, that we're not just materialistic, that we have to look up, right? So if you're number 4 is in a higher level, is the realization of justice, right? It relates to justice. It relates to the family. It relates to the pyramid, right? And it relates to the tetractys. The tetractys was a very sacred symbol that the Pythagoras used. So the tetractys is like this, is the 4 rays, but it's also, it means literally 4 rays, right? But what it means, this is the number of numbers, the tetractys, because it's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, right? We're in number 4 now. So number 4 is the materialization. And 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 totals to 10. And 10 is the number of perfection. So number 10 tends toward perfection. So if you have a number 4, it also contains this secret formula, right? Of perfection, justice, materialization. So number 4s are also, this is the number of the atom. The atom, according to Pythagoras, I will not talk about this because we're never going to finish. I have this really huge topic. I have to do a seminar about the atomic theory and Pythagoras, because he discovered the atom, and the atom that he was talking about was never broken down. It was never fragmented, because atom means non-divisible. He was talking about quantum physics. So 4 is the number also of the soul and related to atomic theory. All right. So, also 4 is the unspoken name of God. In Greek, theos is written in Greek. It has 4 letters, with theta is 1 letter, os. In Latin, Deus, 4 letters. In Egyptian, Ammon. In most languages, the name of God has 4 letters. All right. So this is the 4 letters symbolize also God. So it is the manifestation of divinity on the physical plane. So if you're a number 5 human and not the God with number 4, you have strong values, you are very reliable, you're very practical, very scientific, you're a great manager, you have organization skills. If your purpose is number 4 now, you're here to create something really, you need stability, okay? You can create great things. You have to be careful not to look down on your employees, because then you're going to ruin your whole construction will collapse. And the great tasks that you can accomplish will be given to others who have not so much arrogance. So number 4 is very academic. They have a difficulty in believing things without going deeply and scientifically in them. They can be a bit too serious, a bit unimaginative, argumentative sometimes, So number 4 in reality is someone who is here to create something for others, like a leader of a group. But at the same time, their heaven is their home. So they need the home, they need the family. They're reliable, they're good family owners, good family, not owners, family owner, pet owners. I mean, family people, they're very loyal. They're extremely loyal, number 4s. So you have to see these qualities if they're part of your name. It doesn't have to be your whole name like this, right? So if you're a number 5 or you have a number 5, right? On a higher level, it is the 5 senses, right? It is, but even higher, it is the light and marriage. It's the number 3, which is, the light, and number 2, which is love. So it is the addition of the first even and odd numbers. It is a very, very, it's related to marriage and to love. Goddess Hera, the wife of Zeus, she had number 5 as her hieroglyph. 5 is very positive and it's really volatile. It is the number for change. It is the number for travel on a lower level. It is number 5 relates to writing, and it is science given by the written tradition. For example, I was born in number 5, and I just wrote my book, Pollux. I mean, I'm just telling you it, Pollux. Pollux is the star, it's a star of the Pollux and Castor of the Gemini constellation, which is, by the way, my mission of labor, the labor of Hercules, so my soul's mission. And Pollux is the symbol for the higher soul. So Castor wanes so that Pollux waxes and gets bigger. And in reality, in the sky, this is in the universe, this is what happens. The one star is getting bigger and the other one is getting smaller. So it is science given by written tradition. So you see, arithmosophy is a science. It's a spiritual science, but it is a real science. And it is a science that doesn't need to invent something all the time, to find something new all the time in order to affirm itself. There are the real sciences, the spiritual sciences. And of course, truth is volatile, and it's always, as Master Choa, my teacher, said, truth is volatile and it renews itself, it changes. But there are spiritual sciences. So if you're number 5 as your purpose, number 5, you are here to get married. Your purpose will manifest through marriage, definitely. And perhaps if you have been married and you divorce, you will be married again. You know, I mean, number 5 marries, sometimes marries twice. If the first marriage doesn't work out, they get married twice. And it's all about marriage, love, writing, right? Passing their knowledge through writing. It's the number of knowledge. And it's the 5-pointed star that exists in most things. Even in zucchini, you can see a 5-pointed star. So, okay, I'm not going to say everything about 5 because it's so much, that I can say about 5, right? So they're very quick thinkers, they're inventors, they're human 5s, they're visionaries, they're expansive explorers, they're volatile, they change, and they change homes, they change everything, they like to change. But again, their purpose, is to write, is to change, to be married, to love, and to bring spiritual science or higher sciences into the written word. Now, number 6 is a sacred number. Number 6 represents evolution. In Greek, it is exelixis, which is X is 6, it comes from the Greek word. Number 6 represents intuition. Number 6 has great intuition. Number 6 is a creative number. It's a number of creativity and of nurturing. So if you're a number 6, your voice is your instrument. It is related to the creator who unifies the subjective with the objective. Number 6 are artistic, are inclusive, are humanitarian, are very nurturing. They're good chefs, for example. They like to feed the others. They like to take care of the others. But they're incredibly intuitive. They can be a little bit stubborn, quarrelsome, meddlesome. That is their negative thing. But what they need to develop is their intuition. They have to develop their intuition and they have to nurture. So since they're very good at speaking, number 6 makes great teachers and great nurturers of any kind, healers, therapists of any kind, chefs, whoever takes care of someone else. So, and number 7, right? Number 7 is in the highest, it's the highest number actually. Number 7, no, it's not actually, there's 8 and 9, but in a way, Pythagoras used to allow to his ashram, to his inner circle, people after a 5-year silence trial. So, but number 7s entered straight away as all disciplined souls. So you can understand that number 7 is a really special number if you have it in your life path. If the addition of your birth date, your full birth date, if it adds to number 7. But if you have it in your purpose, in your destiny number, in your name, then let me just tell you first, the higher is 7. Epta in Greek means septa, which means sacred. It's a very sacred number. It symbolizes life. It symbolizes Zeus in a way. It's a sacred number and it's a holy number by all the ancient peoples. All the ancient peoples had 7 as a sacred number. It's a number dedicated to Athena. It's a number, Athena, you must, was a virgin mother, a virgin who was born from the father's head, of Zeus' head, This is its symbolism. This is related to the path of truth, number 7. Number 7 symbolizes the perfection and the spirit of discernment. But you have to know that number 7 also is a number of tests, right? mental tests. Now, my dog is about to bark, so if she barks, I'm sorry, I have to open the door for her just a second. Okay, I'm sorry. I always have to give some priority to my dogs. So number 7 is a number of tests, mental tests, right? Mental tests can even mean initiation, can mean tests of character, emotions, tests, emotional tests, and mental tests. So a person who undergoes mental tests obviously undergoes emotional tests, right? And in reality, a number 7 has to learn not to be to be more all-inclusive. Number 7s are very refined, and they have this aloof and refined quality, and they tend to see the others from a little bit from above. That's why it's very hard for number 7s, if their life path, for example, is number 7, it's a bit difficult for them to find a life partner at an early age. Or if their full purpose number is a number 7. So they marry later, but they do marry someone who is according to their ideology. So number 7 is a bit aloof. They have to learn the lessons. They may be humiliated, you know, they may have to suffer humiliating jobs, whatever. And then according to their behavior and the way that they respond to that, the circumstances will change and the tests will disappear and their life will get better, but they have to react gracefully. This goes for everyone, but for number 7s especially. So number 7s are very good writers, analysts, thinkers, they're good at research, amazing at writing. They have to write books, they're very charming. They're perfectionist to extremes, which is a big problem, as we said. They're very isolated and aloof. They're inventors often. They seek knowledge. So if you're number 7, you can understand you need to have a work that is analytical, that is intelligent, that is, you can be a great life coach also, or teacher, doing seminars and giving your knowledge to the world, or a researcher, work on research. Now, number 8, the way that Mrs. L.G. Balliet describes number 8 is the eternal and proper course of the universe. The 8, the symbol of infinity. When the 8 sleeps, infinity arises. So this is the number of the 8 wise men, and it symbolizes freedom, the freedom of forms, the freedom of planetary objects. It's a very high number. It is the individualistic, this higher aspect is the individualistic aspect of the form, which is necessary to its being. That is the freedom, right? We all have a form, we all have a sole purpose, we all have a teacher, we all have some restrictions, right? But there is something that we're all unique, and this gives us the freedom to be ourselves, the freedom to follow our own individual path. If we knew how unique we are, we would never compare with others. It's an insult to ourselves to compare. So it relates to friendship, prudence, advice, and justice, right? It's prudent, it's good, it's kind, it's a real leader, it's a real leader. Their problem with number 8 is that sometimes their key word for humans is organization. They're great organizers, usually either top CEOs or they have to work on their own. They're very good at construction and clothes. And if you have a number 8, then you tend to give your clothes away. You like to give clothes, but you could be a great business person in clothes and designing clothes. They're good politicians, they're power figures, they're authoritarian. They know exactly what everyone needs in a crisis. and what they need in a crisis, right? In a crisis, you need an 8 to guide you safely. They are sometimes very demanding of others. They're very bossy. They have to work on bossiness. They have to work on awareness of the self. They lack psychology. They're like, not romantic, and lacking psychology. If they study psychology and philosophy, they will be expanding their mind to analyze the root cause of many things in their life. So number 8 is a good boss. They're great for construction, good realtors, good with clothes, good self-employed, having a business of their own. Number 8 is very good also at taking care of the needs of humanity. Especially if your 8 comes from a 44. You're meant to take care of humanity's needs, whether that is to build affordable housing or to make a special soil, as one of my clients that is very, very rich and, promotes healthy, natural life for plants, something earthy, something nourishing, something constructive, right? If you have a child that is 8 and they're moving bricks with a little car from place to place, that's okay. Let them do that. They need it. They're very dynamic. So, all right. So number 9 is the number of God. All right. So, letter theta in Greek, theosophy, right? Theosophy means the wisdom of God. Is the number of initiation according to Lord Joel Kuhl. It is the number of religion. It is a very powerful number that because of the God's element, which is God's name, it has a certain power. So people who are number 9 have to be very careful to purify a lot in order to be able to manifest good things, because they tend to get upset. Nobody understands. I will tell you about on the human level. Now, on the higher level is the 9 muses, like all the harmony. All right. It's about harmony. Number 9 is about harmony in nature, right? When the essence cooperates, what is harmony? When the essences cooperate harmoniously with the forms, right? When the form, is in harmony with the essence of the life, the livingness, expressing their infinite powers, which we have to, let's hope that we express some of our powers, but the infinite powers of nature and of forms. So for humans with number 9, they are very humanitarian. They're the ones who will help everyone. They're selfless. They're giving. They're the ones who will help. They're the ones to call for help. They're the ones who are overburdened by helping everyone. They need to slow down, prioritize, and they have to really, and number 9, my advice to number 9 is take care of yourself first. And, number 9s are like a woman who's working and goes home. She gets up in the morning, she puts food in the table for her children, gets them to school, rushes to work, comes back from work, enters, thinks, okay, I have to do something. I have to relax, but first let me feed the children. I have to put the clothes in the washing machine, and then I have to eat, and then I'm going to rest. But no, after eating, you have to, whatever, some people iron their clothes. I have someone to iron, but let's say I iron my clothes sometimes if I have something, but let's say you have to iron or you have to do folding the laundry, you have to cook, you have to do things for the next day, whatever. No, that is number 9, rushed existence. A person who has a lot of things to do has to enter home, and then enter home. And of course, if there are 2 hungry children, you put food to the children, then you take a shower, you wear clean clothes, you do a little invocation, you light a candle or a scent, you sit to eat properly, calmly, you rest 1 hour or half an hour, 45 minutes, and then you go and fold the laundry, and then you live, right? And number 9 does not have that. And number 9 works, and they work for others for free most of the time. They're very, very humanitarian. Now, and number 9 needs humanitarian. They need the brotherhood of man or the sisterhood of woman, whatever. You know what I mean? The brotherhood. They need this oneness, that they need to build a society that is fair. So they can help, but they have to take care of themselves as well. They're very creative, they're very artistic, they're very loving, they're emotional and loving, right? They can get very argumentative, they feel nobody understands them, they feel unappreciated, and that's because they give out too much. That's why they're unappreciated, because if you give everything, then people are not going to appreciate you enough. They take you for granted. They can be very possessive and needy of attention and emotional and drama queens. But if a 9 finds a balance through self-care and realizing that if you start working, work will never end, and saying that delegating to others, finding solutions, using more time to strategize upon finding solutions and less mindless activity, and finding more time for themselves and strategizing and allotting, the tasks, making lists and saying, today I will do this. This is the kind of day I will have. Tomorrow I will do that. You cannot do everything. It never ends. So that's number 9, but it's an amazing number that whatever they think, whatever they want, they manifest very easily. It's the stamp of God in number 9, all right? And, if your number 1 comes from number 10, it is really, the completion and the tendency toward perfection that you have more strongly. So these are the numbers. I know this has been a lot of information, It's been a lot of information. So I hope you can see how each of your names bring something to your general purpose, right? Now, your purpose is the addition of all the letters of your name. It's not one of the two. Perhaps you like your first name's energies more, or you like your middle name's energies more, which of course the middle name brings something. It's like my middle name is love, or you know what I mean? It's like you have to use it metaphorically as well. The middle name is your hidden qualities, your extra qualities, some other things that you bring in this incarnation. But your purpose is in the total of all the letters, right? Of all the numbers of your names. So I hope this has been edifying, and I hope you found something there. So let's do our workshop. Let's take a moment to relax, because I have been teaching you nonstop the meaning of the numbers. I hope you're not exhausted, and that you got some information about your purpose through that. Yes, yes. This is the second time only in all those years that I have taught some of the higher qualities of the numbers, because the numbers usually we only want to see, oh, what am I here to do? Okay, I'm a number 1. Business. What kind of business? Well, you have to also see the other names, and you have to see what you like. You have to see your life path. There are so many things, right?